Hello, folks. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. Sorry about the late start here. We had some technical issues. Sometimes the internet just does not want to go through. So we'll skip our break and we'll go ahead and bring the Mad New Yorker up here. Oops. Did I get you on there, brother? Sorry, hit the mute button. How you doing tonight there, Carlos?
Oh, happy Thursday. Thank you for having me on tonight.
Yeah, good stuff, man. By the way, congratulations to France getting their win today, and of course, Mbappe, first player ever to get 8 goals in 2 different World Cups. Man, they are really good. So I want to say they're the first team in the quarterfinals, or in the semifinal. Excuse me, they're in the final four, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
That being said, what's your thoughts about, and I'll give you mine afterwards, United States coming up short the other day against Belgium?
Yeah, this was probably one of the best groupings that the United Soccer, the U.S. federations had in a long time. And they fell short, but they also played a team that has had a lot of depth and a lot of international play, as well as the young guys that Belgium have are probably going to be rated a little bit higher than some of the players that were on the field against them from the U.S. side. So I mentioned a few names that I thought would maybe make a difference. Rania hit the field both times. He hit the field. It was after the second half started. Towards the end of the game, he made a difference in only 2 games, and then Wayo didn't even touch the field in the last 2 games. So this was also a team that was built, I felt like, and the people I talked to, where the defense wasn't as strong as it usually is, but they had these guys who could play good defense. They're not great defenders, but they could play good defense and then can help promote and push and make an attack. So and they can get back. So, but that was something that didn't come to fruition, there's a little, how can I say, the way people are talking about are like, oh, they got to start from scratch. And I think they have some foundations that there's some guys that are going to be moving on from this team eventually, mostly because of the age. And then also because, they probably won't make it for the next roster for the next time to come to a tournament. The team has to come together. So, but I don't believe that the U.S. soccer is behind as much as how people are all over the U.S. in the media talking about. I feel like it's evolved in a sense where maybe what needs to happen is they need to put teams out there that work better together instead of individuals that are good on teams that are not like the U.S. What this feels like? This feels like when the coaches are like, this is how we're going to play, but the players are like, you're not letting me play how my ability will help you, right? Yeah. This is what it feels like. It's an American sport kind of thing. It's where soccer is different, and coaches have their own way of doing things for sure. But in soccer, from my understanding, and football, when the player's on the field, man, you let him play, you let him run, you let him do what he's best capable of doing, and you don't try to force him to do things that are not in his box, right? In his toolbox. So, and I felt like that was something that this team was doing a lot of. They were trying to play in a way systematically to try to, make it through the games, and it kind of bit them. A lot of players, it looked like they didn't fit in the system. You heard a lot of people in the news, like at the halftime, oh, the U.S. doesn't look like they have a flow, or they not look like they're working together well and this and that. But that's going to happen when you're forcing a system on players that they play systems, but they play free. They're freer. They have more they have more they have more rope to go on by the teams that they play on, because these guys who play international, they're on teams that are highly, some are on highly rated, either defensively or offensively, so they could play in that, they could play with that, and this team didn't have enough of a balance.
Yeah, and I was listening to Colin Cowherd. He had mentioned this, and some of the experts that these guys are with Fox, and they're covered these games, and he mentioned this before this game started, before this tournament started, that the scouting report on U.S. soccer team is the back end's weak. I mean, that's the biggest weakness. If you can get back there, you can score. And the equivalent of American football, you had a very good quarterback on a bad secondary, and they got toasted. I mean, that's 4-1, totally outmatched. I don't think that nerves were a big deal. People say, well, nerves, this and that. They played with a lot of swagger leading up to this game. I know that was the Balogun stuff, but all that settles down after the first few minutes once you start running around there. Belgium was just a better team. They were more, like you said, they're a veteran team. They got better team chemistry. I was thinking before I went to bed that night that they really need like a Herb Brooks type of coach. That's the guy that coached the U.S. men's hockey team back in 1980. They got the upset over Russia. They need a Nick Saban type of a guy that's going to have these guys out there at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning working on soccer, working on penalty kicks, working on defense. Any way they can get better and catch up.
That coach that has that little bit of extra motivator type of person.
Yeah. He came in with the swag. I like the guy. He kind of looks like who was
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe. I think you heard me say that. He does, man. He looks like Russell Crowe. He's got the swag. The ball shirts were selling out. And then when they get beat 4-1, it's like, I don't know. Maybe he's too casual because all the other coaches are wearing suits.
Well, before the tournament started, I mentioned that I don't think they get past the quarters. I think that was like, I tried to be.
So if they won this game, it would have been considered to be a success, right?
Yeah. So, and it's not that they're unsuccessful. Again, you're asking a team that didn't have to play a hard schedule because they didn't have to qualify for it. They were in on, as far as they were in because they were hosting, but their schedule was mediocre for the players that were on the team. They could have handled a harder schedule. Even where they went through the qualifying rounds, they didn't face hard nosed soccer. They were the better team during the qualifiers. So these things lend out when you have a good to great team. They're not going to get better if they're already the best, and they play to the best. They're not playing down, but they're not going to play up, right? So these things matter when you're in a tournament like this, because it's a month tournament, but it's like every 3 days you're playing a game, every 2 to 5 days. So it's a difficult situation. I can't say, and I'm not gonna lie, because I actually was kind of rooting for them in the back of, they're my third team that I root for, but I felt like this team had probably one of the best opportunities, yet like a lot of people are saying, defensive wise, the team wasn't built to be like nobody can score goals on them. The team was built to be, if we get scored on, we could at least score another goal in return.
You hope they would make an Argentina-like comeback,
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, not all teams in soccer can make comebacks. It's one of those games that anything can happen, as you saw Argentina when they were down to Egypt. People are upset because they're not in the quarter, they're not in the semifinals, but this is a game, this is a tournament where it's not easy. It's not 110 games and then you play a finals. It's, you win and you win or lose, and then you go home if you lose. So they didn't have to go nowhere, but they didn't make it anywhere to the Final Four. So
Yeah, and I believe. Listen, man, the ratings are really high for this thing. There's an interest there. Belgium was bragging; they were taunting at the end. Hey, listen, that's good. You know what? If you do, I do like to see it when a team gets humiliated because I think that motivates you more to come back stronger. I was talking to a Ohio State fan the other day. Had a guy in the car, great guy, great wife there. Tip $9 from Long Island. New Yorkers are my best tippers, by the way. You know, I always talk about, yeah, you guys are great, man. But I told him, I said, you know, when Ohio State humiliated Tennessee like that, I said that it's good to be humiliated like that, you know, because what that does is, I said you accumulate that loss with the recent loss to Vanderbilt at home like that, and they went out and got a new. What do you call it? Strength and conditioning coach. I said they've been lacking physicality. You know, they had to get humiliated by Vanderbilt to really wake up. On top of that Ohio State humiliating loss, it starts to pile up. And then they finally got the new defense coordinator. You want something to really get shown bad to really expose and motivate you to say, okay, now we got to address these issues. And I was looking it up on Google AI, and it said, listen, they said they need more high level. You mentioned international matches. They need to play the SEC more, if you're using a college football reference here, to get them tuned up to play this. It's going to be hard for us to go out and buy an international player. Those guys are going to play for their own country, and that makes sense. But that doesn't mean that we can't put more into scrimmages and whatnot, or matches, whatever you want to call it, in phraseology, and get one of these hardcore, like I said, Herb Brooks type of coaches that try to kill them, but going to make them. I mean, I thought Morocco was really impressive, although they lost. You know, they're tough as all get out. Mexico, you could see the difference in size, man. England was so much bigger than Mexico, but Mexico played their guts. They played them to the wire, man. They played it even though they got down early, and that was one of the highest watch games in the World Cup. That game was intense, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think people in the United States sometimes fail to realize that Mexico City is the highest populated city in the Western Hemisphere. Like, you know, and there it's like that's the India of this.
I think I want to say they got more people than New York City.
Oh, by far. Like
New York City. There, man. When I was studying abroad, I flew out of there. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. So like, and then you're not even talking about the people who are like living on you know, on this side of the states. You're not talking about people who live in other countries of the world that are of Mexican descent. So, you know, this was, of course, going to be the huge game. And what I liked what the former goalkeeper, he was on a podcast, Brad Friedel, he mentioned that Mexico's not a good team, that this team can get beat, and that England just has to go there and just play their game. And when I heard him say that, you know, and they bring up the stats about they've never been beaten in the 5 games
there in that stadium in 14 years.
Yeah, because of the elevation and all that. So, you know, I was just thinking, I'm like, you know, and I'm not a Mexico fan, but I've seen a lot of their players and international teams, and then in the Mexican league that's popularly on TV in this side of the world. Listen, they lacked. It was almost like seeing the U.S. team out there, right? Like they have names, they have players. It's just there wasn't balance. It felt like they weren't playing together. And then you have a team like England's team that nobody was banking on even being maybe in the quarters. And you know, you got one player holding, like France, you got that one guy who's going to be a nonstop playmaker.
Yeah,
and
I forgot his name. Blonde-headed guy with the smooth back hair.
Yeah, Henry Kane. Like he
Kane is a great player, man.
Yeah, man, he's a go-getter, man. And like, I feel like if you're a soccer team or football team and you got 3 of those guys on your team, you're gonna do okay in the tournament. And these guys, you know, they got Jude Bellingham. He's a young player from England. He's played in the German league. He's played in Spain. You know, he's He knows how to play a lot of these fast scoring systems, so that helps that team. So these guys, they pull each other up, and I feel like that was kind of missing in the U.S. team. A lot of these guys, even though they play international, some of these guys start, some of them don't. Some of them are on our second team, and they don't have like that one guy who's like a go getter. Pulisic is one guy, but he came into the tournament injured already. So when you go to bring it back to Mexico, they didn't have a go getter like that that was pulling the team up, and England just went in and took care of it, and it took advantage of their height. They took advantage of their speed, and they didn't. It's almost like they felt the elevation, but they didn't let it affect their gameplay.
I know. It was probably the most impressive win. Even though they were favored, I felt like they were underdogs. I took Mexico in that game and got beat. I bought into that Mexico hype.
You bought into everybody. You bought into the listen, that's a
Seattle
lot of
Seahawks home field advantage type of hype.
Yeah.
And this team went in there and executed, man.
Listen, Rob, you from the first game they won, you would think that they already got the World Cup in the hand. I mean, look, they're a prideful bunch. I love my friends of Mexican descent and Mexicans, and they're great, and they're very proud of their team, and they have every right to be. They can cheer them on, but it was just it was a great game. It was not the outlook that a lot of people wanted to see in this side of the world. Even in New York, the Mexicans here, man. You should have saw. It felt like D-Day when Ecuador played Mexico and where I live, because I live in a town where you have a predominant Ecuadorian and Mexican. It's like they're like 50-50.
Oh man!
So it was crazy. And then when they got beat by England, it was like, man, it rained that day, and it felt like it should have, because it was a bad day for those fans, for sure.
Yeah. That Argentina comeback, I watched a little bit when I was on the way to work, and I'll tell you what, man, that was very much that Messi reminds me so much of Joe Montana. He's a small guy, but he's a big play at the big time, because then the 49ers would come back from these deficits, and he was such a big time. I mean, those three, what was it, 78 minutes left? I mean, and they're down 2, and to score like that, I thought they were gone. I still think they'll probably lose. You can't keep playing like that, man, and winning. But what's your thoughts about that? It's probably one of the greatest comebacks in a short amount of time in World Cup history, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, my heart and my age is the condition that I'm in. I'm not sure if I could keep watching these sports games, but my doing that, like have the playoff.
Yeah, happy birthday! You just turned another age, brother.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
Next month.
Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Like your heart rate goes up, and you're just like your frustration goes up. And listen, I wasn't rooting for Argentina. I was excited for Egypt. They have a player that who plays in Premier League, and Mo Salah, this was probably gonna be his last World Cup.
Okay.
And I was like, I was thinking, okay, this is good for their country. This is good for the African nation of Egypt to be in this situation. And it just kept getting further and further. And you just saw, a player like Messi bring up, like I said, he's a go-getter. He gets people to follow him. And that team came back. It's the first time in World Cup history that a team comes up that much from the deficit.
Yeah.
He scored 3 goals. A lot of stuff is going on in the background. People here in the media saying things. I have a perception. I think about different things, but to keep it to where the sport is at, to the event, to the game.
Yeah.
Listen, man, if you didn't watch this game, guys, go back and watch it again.
That's good.
For everything, like for the good, for the bad, for the craziness, for the player, and Messi. There's a lot of talk for reason. And so you guys know, right now, as it stands, this is the most searched game on Google. That's surpassed.
It was interesting.
It surpassed everything.
Think about Norway getting that win, and they've got a star too. What's his name? Erling Haaland, I think is his name.
Yeah,
guy kind of looks like Mark a little bit. Yeah.
No, this guy is. Look, even as a youngster, people were predicting that this kid was going to be a top-rated player. He's coming out of Norway. He started in the league there as a 17-year-old in their leagues up there, and then he got moved to Germany, and then Now he's playing in England on Man City, and this is a guy. He's again the go-getter mentality, the one that can pick up this change a game in the drop of a dime. This guy's huge. He's a machine.
Yeah,
he's a score machine right now. Just because of his age, though, he's kind of on the same route as Ronaldo and Messi. For every time he plays a match, he scores a goal. It's very close.
Yeah, I think he's got 7 as well.
Yeah, he's in the actual tournament.
So
in the tournament he does. And listen, I'm not saying he's Ronaldo, and I'm not saying he's Messi. What I am saying though is this guy is a game changer, and you need to watch him play. You need, if you haven't had a chance to, when he gets back to the league, he's on Man City. Look up those games. There's literally videos of him. He's running forward, and guys bounce off of him like a ping pong ball. Man, he's like trying to grab him, and they just bounce off him. He's just touching the scene, and it's fun to watch him play. It's great that he's helping his team in Norway get to this situation. They play England. It's going to be a great matchup. On the Norway team, there's 3 guys. The magic number is 3, right? 3 guys whose fathers were on the national team.
Okay.
So they're the second generation of soccer players that their fathers were on the team when they were younger. So it's a pretty cool thing for that country. It's a small country, but small country, big heart, and great fans. They came and they changed.
Oh, they do the role thing, don't they?
Yeah, they changed the atmosphere in New York, and it was great to have them here. They did a good job, having fun, and there wasn't a threat at all and they followed the rules, So it was good to have that fan base here and those fans here enjoy their teams.
Yeah. I'll tell you, these next few games are going to be interesting. That's going to be a great match. You mentioned England there, and between their 2 stars. The 2 blonde dudes, big dudes too, man. Those are pretty tall guys. I can't wait to watch that. I want to say I've already got it set up to be recorded. Norway knocks out Brazil. Thought Brazil's a little overrated. They're not the old Brazil we know growing up. They're not at that level yet.
So
the level they used to be. Excuse me.
Yeah, no. So we talked about that a little bit, and I think the expectations was still the same, but the players are different. They didn't have a strong enough defense like they used to have 2 or 3 guys back there. They didn't have that. They had 1 guy back there and a couple good defenders, but they weren't great. And it caught up with them. With another thing was that their attack was hit and miss. It wasn't constant. And you had a player like Vinny, who's again plays on the Spanish team, and you see him on a club team, and he didn't play like he played on a club team because the team was a little bit different. So. And that's something that's, I think some of these teams who have these guys who play high-level club, when they come on the national team, I think the expectation is that they're going to be the same players. But again, these guys who come back from the clubs and who play on the high-end clubs, their mentality changes because their perception is different. Like, I don't have the same guys on my team, and I can't do these things because I don't have the same guys on my team. And I don't think the cast, the roster members are like, oh well, unless they're on the same team or on a high level team, it's hard to play catch up, right? You can't raise your ability if you can have potential, but you can't raise the ability of the potential if you're only at a certain place.
Yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you. Switching gears here. Big 12 had their media days this past week. Hey, listen, Deion Sanders has always been a topic of discussion. He's been brought up here with the Colorado Buffaloes. They, finished rough last year, 3-9. Now, he had bladder cancer last year. Been dealing with some health problems there. My thing is, he's saying, hey, listen, I'm past that, got the treatment. I'm feeling a lot better this year. I'm looking at my notes here. They got a new defensive coordinator, a new offensive coordinator, 66 new players, which is kind of rough. It's hard to get those guys on the same page. The over and under is 4.5 wins. Their quarterback from last year said that he didn't watch any game film. and they got a lot of pushback from that. Deion got a lot of heat from that. I'll tell you what, man. You know, I think that he'll bounce back this year, but the Buffaloes, Colorado's got a new AD, and I didn't realize this, but he only really had one good season there with this team. I want to say that he was that this team was, they're 9-4 and 24. The first year they were 4-8. We remember the big hype in the first year there, doing all the TV stuff. Second year, Travis Hunter, son's playing great, playing well. 9-4. Last year, 3-9. Got the new AD. I really hope that he turns it around this year and gets it back up closer to that 9-4, 8-4 regular season, something like that. Gets into that bowl game and keeps his thing going. But we've also talked about the fact that he's had rappers in the locker room and doing all kinds. There's so much distraction there that it feels like he's talking a big game, but not delivering a big game. And there is a chance that he could just step down, but really be pushed out at the end of the season. I don't know. I guess we could talk about the schedule here in a minute, but my thing is, I think he'll probably use health as an excuse, and whether it's good or bad, and back off at the end of this year. I hope it's not the case. I want the guy to be in the league. I think it's him, guys like Lane Kiffin, those kind of personalities, good or bad or indifferent. We want to keep more guys like that in the league. In college football, we saw Dusty May run off to the NBA. I don't want it to be Lane. What's your thoughts on him coming into this year? Does he have the chance to really turn this thing around? And do you think maybe his heart was not as into it now that his sons are gone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting you mentioned his son. So I'm going to go with what I've always said on the show is that Deion's going to do what Deion wants to do. So I feel like if he's hearing all these people talk about, he hasn't been a winning coach and all that, he's going to show up and he's going to show out because that's the way he is. Yeah. He takes every challenge and he takes it to the nth degree, and he's going to show people that he there's value in what he can bring to the table, to university. And listen, if you're the AD, you challenge him, but you don't put him on the list, because the last thing you want to do is for that school to go to back to zero, where it was before Deion showed up.
Yeah,
you got alumni coming out the woodwork. You got so much money in flux. You got all these new players because you're able to use support to get these players. All you got to do is just keep him in the mix. Let him do what he does. Let Deion be Deion. And I've always said this. When it comes to his family, he's always going to show up and support them. But he wants them to be independent as well. He's not, this whole thing with Shedeur, he's not, on every team. He's not like the ball father, man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he's that bad. Although he's crept up to that ball status before when he was talking pre-draft.
Yeah, but I think
he calmed that stuff down this time around.
You're supposed to talk highly of your kids. You brought them up. So if somebody gave me a mic to talk about my son, I'm gonna talk him up. But I'll also tell my son, listen, I support you, but and I hope you do better things than I've ever achieved in my life. But you need to do it for yourself. You don't do it because you need to be better than me. You do it because I brought you up to be better than me.
Yeah. Do you think he'll last past this season?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you think he may step down or something, or be forced out?
No, I don't think he'll be forced out, and I don't think he'll step down. I think he'll go when he's ready to go, when he wants to go. And football is not easy, and this division is not easy. So I'm sure he's already got that in the mix as part of his motivator too. He don't want to leave, or he don't want to be kicked out without him having a winning season.
Yeah.
So that's just from my take from him and what I've seen him do in the past on the different teams he's been on. So plus Colorado's on the map, is back on the map. It's been more than 25 years since he's seen people talk about Colorado, since you've heard about people talk about Colorado.
They were money in the 90s they had a national they did have a national championship one year, but they also had a Heisman Trophy with Rashaan Salam. Remember him?
Yeah.
National champ. Like I said, I want him to succeed. I like the guy. He's a guy of faith, and I love his speeches. I'm just not sure if the health problems really may be more of an issue. I think he had like a toe amputated or something. He's had diabetes problems. He had bladder cancer. I mean, that is a lot to overcome.
Yeah,
I gave him a pass for last year.
Yeah, and listen, to be honest with you, like you saying all those things, think about that. He's had all those things, and he hadn't complained about what Colorado's been able to do. He's been trying to be having a.
Well, he did say, "Hey, listen, I wasn't myself last year. This stuff was taking a toll on me. Cancer treatment is hard on the body. It lowers your energy,
Oh no, of course, but again, like he didn't make it an excuse.
No.
In some of these games,
he showed up to every game, even though he might have not been feeling good.
Right, and Colorado wasn't out of all the games that they lost. If you think about it,
yeah, they were 3-9, and he said that they were in a lot of close games. And that quarterback, he didn't help. He didn't help Deion by saying he didn't watch film that last year, but he does this year. Hopefully, he's watching a lot of film. And I'll tell you, when we go through the schedule real quick.
Yeah, let's look at it.
I had him. I got him going optimistically 8-4.
Yeah,
but the over and under, like I said, is 4-8. They open up against, if I can find this schedule, I get getting this stuff mixed up here. They open up against at Georgia Tech. Remember, they played Georgia Tech at home last year, had a lead early. Georgia Tech comes back. Now they're at Atlanta. I think they'll probably lose that game. Do you think they'll lose that game? I think they'll probably lose at Atlanta. I like to see him win at Atlanta, but I don't think.
I'm going to tell you what, that game will probably be close, and I can see Colorado winning that game by a field goal.
Okay. Then they play a team called Weber at home. Now, they should win that game, right?
Yeah.
And if you never heard of them, yeah. I mean, so that's one win there.
They have a pretty good basketball team, but
yeah. Yeah. And then you got at what is that? NU. What is that?
Northwestern.
Yeah. Now, Northwestern, that could go either way. I gave them a win there. Are you would you agree with that?
Yeah, I can see that being a win.
I mean, I even got them winning the next week at Baylor.
You got them beating Baylor?
But Baylor could be a toss-up. They could be underdogs in that game because it's at Baylor.
Right. Yeah. So they'll probably be the underdog at that game, and they could win this game.
If you gave them a loss there, that would be 2-1.
2-1.
2-2. No, you got them beating Georgia Tech?
Yeah, by a field goal.
Okay. And then Texas Tech, I mean, they spent a lot of money on NIL. I don't think they're going to beat Texas Tech. You think they'll beat Texas Tech?
No, but that will be a great matchup.
Yeah. Utah, even though Utah lost their head coach, I don't think they'll beat Utah, even with the new coaching staff. It is at Colorado. What do you think about that? They have beat Utah in the past.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Texas game is at home. The Utah game is at home. They should be favored in those two games if their schedule is if they're 3-3 and they're up 3.
Okay.
So they'll probably lose Texas Tech, and they'll win at Utah. You win with
Utah, which is okay. Now at Oklahoma State's been a bad team. They fired their coach. I don't think they'll win that game, but possibly they could because Oklahoma State's starting over too.
Right.
But you know what? I'll be generous and say they'll beat Oklahoma State on the road. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah, Kansas State, very good coach there. I don't think they'll beat Kansas State at home.
A lot of this schedule is going to help them with being at home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
this is a
that
home
would be
game.
at home, but Kansas State, I'm not going to pick them to beat Kansas. I'd like to see them beat them, but if you want to pick them to beat Kansas State, go right ahead. Just try to keep up with your numbers.
Yeah, no, I that's going to be a close game too. Yeah, I don't know if they can beat that team.
At Arizona State, remember Arizona's coach had them in the playoffs a few years ago. They did lose their quarterback to LSU. I don't think they'll beat at Arizona State, but what do you think, man?
I think they'll take the Arizona State.
Okay. Now they've got Houston at home on a Friday night. I like home teams on these Thursday night, Friday games. I'll take them to beat Houston. That's another win. What do you think about Houston?
Yeah, that'll be a close one, but I think they'll be Houston. And then
it's in Colorado, so yeah.
Yeah, which I mentioned is going to help them.
Yeah, and then they got at Cincinnati. I'll think they'll probably lose that game.
Right.
It's on the road. What do you think about at Cincinnati?
Yeah, I don't think they'll win that game.
Okay, and UCF. It seemed like they beat UCF the year before last. I think they match up pretty well. Obviously, there's so much turnover; it's hard to tell. I'll give them a win there. So, I mean, that's 8-4, 6-6 is what I'm thinking. What do you think about this team? What do you think about that last UCF game?
Yeah, I don't know. That one's going to be a tricky one because that team has changed over a few times, and this team is new, right? This team has 60-some players that are new. So,
yeah,
if they could just ride on the talent that they have. But I think when it comes down to that time of the year, it's all going to be about motivation and health.
Yeah, and a lot of this is going to be on that quarterback. The kid that said he is watching film now. If he's not watching film, they may win 3 games again, and they go through 3 or 4 more quarterbacks. Like I said, over and under is 4.5 wins. You and me are being pretty optimistic. They do not have a very hard schedule. These aren't powerhouse, other than Texas Tech and Georgia Tech and Arizona State. These ain't really powerhouse teams. I mean, of course, it's college. You don't know with transfer portal and everything. Yeah, they could lose that Baylor game. They could lose all these road games, But it's interesting to see how it plays out. I think he'll probably step down at the end of the year. Hope he doesn't. Hope he wins 8 games. I hope he has like comeback, coach of the year or something. I love the guy. Yeah,
no. I think if he's gonna go, it's probably gonna be after next season. It's probably gonna be on a contractual situation, right?
Okay.
Because they're gonna be like, listen, you got other NIL guys you needed to build this team. You said that you could make winners out of anybody that transfers in. You made your claim to fame at some of these schools by doing that, by turning over rosters, and you didn't do it. You haven't been able to do it, and then I can see them kind of hoping that he either moves on or just says it's going to be his last year. I just don't see it happening sooner than next till after.
Okay, I hope you're right. More Deion, the better.
Listen, that's how I hope to see things. Because I'm like you. I want to see this guy coaching. I want to see this guy at Colorado. I think one of the best opportunities he has to win and show that he's a winner in a big time on big time television is probably not with a big time program. Like, he's turned over every program to be positive that he's ever touched, and I don't think that he's far from doing this here. He had a couple bad seasons. I don't know of any coach that hasn't had bad seasons before.
Well, 2 of the last 3 have been bad. One of them was the first one. You write that one off, and one of them's because of the cancer. You can write that. So this is a big year for him.
Yeah,
if they win like 3 or 4 games, I think the pressure will be on him.
What was his contract? How many years was his contract for?
I'm sure he's at year 4 of a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
And it's under a new AD. a lot of times ADs want to get their own guy in there, like a new.
Listen, if I'm a new AD and I have a money pit and Neon Dion, I'm not moving this guy. He's gotta show me that he really lacks integrity, lacks knowledge of the game, and lacks coaching. Coaching.
Well, if they have another 3-win season, that don't look good, man.
Yeah, but
Plus,
again,
with all the stuff that's leaking out that they do not have they have a partly like atmosphere there, and he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. But I'm just playing devil's advocate. I don't think that's the case, but I'm just telling you what some of the reports are, and the perception of that quarterback.
Yeah, I think
saying that stuff was bad.
When it comes to college football, and like when it comes to a lot of different teams on different levels, your coach has to be there 10 years minimum if you got a good thing going, culture and all that stuff. So even Saban in Michigan State, wasn't he there like 5 years?
I can't remember, man. But I need to move on to this Taylor Swift thing. I think this is interesting. So they get married. I think it's a great thing. I hope they stay married, her and Travis Kelce. Like I said the other day, man, can you imagine the kids on this? If they have kids, she's 5'10", super long frame there. He's 6'5". She's a type A personality, self-made billionaire. He's one of the best tight ends in the history of the game. Their kids could be some great athletes. They could be super ambitious, or they could be lazy as all get out if they spoil them. It just depends, That being said, I thought that getting married at Madison Square Garden, and I'm going to play this video for you in a minute, but it does seem like one of the most narcissistic things out there. I thought marriage was supposed to be, I want to say Barkley said, I think I met her one time. That's why I didn't show up, but I got an invite. Charles Barkley. Come on, man. It's like they're trying to, this whole thing seems like, and they don't need the publicity. Do they need the publicity? They got their brand built, And I think she's pushing this, judging by the way she was acting, and she was walking with his mom on the field a few years ago. I saw her walking, and I'm like, that's his mother, man. Why are you walking ahead of his mother like she's not there? Like she's trying to, soak up the limelight, which I think is really odd. But do you think that was a little much? You know what? Let me play this video for you, and let me get your opinion. This is from Megyn Kelly's show. And like I said, before I play this, it does sound like that they're being jealous haters. But I think what this Maureen Callahan, her guest, was saying, I think there is a point here. Watch this, man.
I think Taylor Swift is a malignant narcissist.
Yeah.
Only a malignant narcissist mounts her wedding at MSG.
Yeah. Tracks.
MSG.
Now we're getting the reports of all the celebrities who are arriving in New York today. I guess reportedly the rehearsal dinner is tonight and the wedding's tomorrow, right? It's not on the 4th. The wedding's tomorrow. The third.
Tomorrow night, I
think,
3rd, right? Yeah.
And I know there's like Dua Lipa and I know a bunch of people from across the pond. I don't know. Is there any chance we're being head fake, Maureen? And like all of this is bullshit and they're going to be heading off to like some island like JFK Jr.?
The only thing I can think that might be a head fake is I think they might already be legally married, secretly legally married. And then this is just like scratching her enormous showbiz itch. Like, which listen, that whatever chasm exists within her will never be filled.
Yeah, that's true.
It will what kind of hole do you have inside of you where you need to stage your wedding at Madison Square Garden? It's like laughable. It's truly.
I mean, I thought that was interesting, man. What's your thoughts about, the idea of wanting to do that? And, I hear it was blocking off traffic and all that, really causing a lot of problems in the city. Although they did, I tell you what, it was so bad that she knew it was going to look bad. Her publicist leaked out that they donated $26 million to charity, which I thought was cool. It's a blessing and all that ego for some, kids of need, So what's your thoughts about that?
I always
The
tell
whole
people,
marriage and the fact that it was at MSG. Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you could do it, do it. No, like, I can't take something away from somebody who has dreams of how they want to celebrate their wedding. Those two ladies sounded really catty and jealous, to be honest with you.
That's what I said. I mean, two things could be true.
Right. And,
She's
but,
a
and it,
total narcissist and they sound like haters.
yeah,
But
like,
these two things could still be true.
but as someone who lives in New York, like, you have big events all the time. Things happen all the time that are big. I like Taylor Swift for her music, for what she's been able to achieve. I'm not, I don't put nothing against her. And then Travis Kelce, the same thing. But like, look, this is, if two people want to celebrate those kind of things.
Would you get married at Madison? Would you want that kind of exposure?
Yeah, but just the thing is, my partner and I got married. Well, we got married because that's what she wanted. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not gonna go out of my way to do something. You should always let your bride celebrate how she wants it, because you part of the show. And you can agree to some things and disagree about some things. But happy wife, happy life, man. Like, I don't understand. If you don't have it, fine. But if the dream of yours is to get married at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York, or Madison Square Garden in New York, or the library of Bryant Park, or what may have you in the middle of New York that's not not Empire State Building, then do it. Yeah. If you can do it, right? The thing is, the thing that will make me mad as somebody who had money, or if I was a celebrity, would be like, if you told me I couldn't do something. That would make me mad, because I'm like, yo, I got the money. Let's do this. Nobody said nothing about Jay-Z and Beyonce. Nobody let them do what they want to do. If they got the money, let them spend it how they want to spend it, and how they want to celebrate that partnership and that point of their life, and that, that celebration. Let it do. Like, what is it to you? If you're invited or you're not invited, then that's where the difference is, right? Yeah. Look, I got invited and I had to turn it down because I was busy. So, no, I mean, seriously. And on the second note is like, listen, people in New York, there's people that were digging in the trash in Madison Square Garden. It sold out that trash from that event, selling that stuff on eBay. That's how crazy. Yeah. Linking this woman and Travis Kelce, like linking Taylor Swift and Travis. That's how crazy people got trash. Not the people that were in the wedding, but people went outside after the wedding, were picking up trash and sold stuff that was from the wedding, that was from that trash in the wedding. And it sold out on eBay. That's just ridiculous craziness right there.
I mean, the idea of wanting to get a publicity stunt when you don't really need the publicity, it tells you how hollow these people are. Hey, look, more power to you, but two things can be true. Hey, if you want to do it, but hey, listen, she knew that was a bad look. That's why she gave the $26 million to the charity. But hey, look, that's a blessing for somebody else. That's the way I see it. Yeah, I always look at the bright side of it.
Yeah,
I hope they stay married. Again, man, can you imagine the kids? I hope they have a run like a Jay-Z and a Beyonce. I think that would be great.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think we always hope as fans, especially sports fans, when two highly like in the limelight stars get together, you're like, okay, their kids are gonna be like awesome. But like, listen,
sometimes they don't work out, sometimes they become awful. But
what we didn't mention, in this kid Holland, his mom was a track star. His father was
and this is the star from Norway.
From Norway, right? And they got a machine as a baby, so it's possible it can happen. Like stars are born every day. The same thing. Look, our own superstar MVP player, Brunson. His mom plays sports on the bottom team.
Brunson had a well of a workout. I could see him having a Brunson type of kid.
Yeah. So
especially Travis Kelce. She wanted him to play another year. He needs to stay busy. I've got some tendencies like I'll get myself in trouble if I don't have too much time on my hand. So they need to have a kid, and he needs to be coaching these kids up to keep himself out of trouble, if that makes any sense. Like I said, I really hope they live. They last. The cynic side of me says
Robert, I got a question for you, real quick.
they're gonna fall out
Okay.
probably in 3 years.
No, this isn't about necessarily you, but if you had the choice and if there was a place that you would want to get married, what place would that be for you? Not
Well,
I know, not saying that you know what your partner
it'd be a church or something. It wouldn't. I wouldn't try to make it about something that's not about me and that person. You know, instead of making it something bigger than that. And the close friends and family, she knew that was going to be an issue.
Right.
You know,
So what if
it just
you're
felt like something like a production rather than an actual wedding. You know, but hey, some women are like that. I get it. You know,
I'll give you a scenario. Let's say you hook up with a Tennessee Titan cheerleader,
yeah,
right? And that was her claim to fame was that she became a dancer. She got lucky, and now she's a cheerleader. And all of a sudden now she's on Dancing. She's a judge on Dancing with the Stars, right? Let's say she goes, Robert, you know what? We got money. I'm gonna see if we can get married at the Lincoln Center in New York because that was my dream.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to dance one time in the show there, and that was my dream. Or let's say Radio City because she wanted to be a Rockette, but she never became a Rockette.
Yeah.
But that's the place.
as a guy, you just go along with it. You just go.
So
You're there.
how is it different than Taylor Swift? Let's say Madison Square Garden was the biggest stage that she ever wanted to play on, and she got to play on, and she sold it out 3 times. How's that a difference for her telling Travis Kelce, listen, that was the Mecca, that was the biggest, that was a place where I felt like I reached my dreams.
But she don't have a lot of self-awareness. I mean, here's the thing. You've already made it. You have to have self-awareness of how that stuff lands, blocking off traffic, causing this, making them. She's got some narcissistic tendencies, man. You know,
but
really, you see how she was walking, but I should have got that video. How she was ignoring this guy's mother.
No, but listen, this is part of her persona. This is part of who she is. This is part of what everybody
ever got a childlike mindset, and that's probably some issues because she was bullied. I don't know.
And everybody always
get to this Mets story, man. You know, hey, that's your opinion. We agree, disagree. I hope they win. I want them to win because I want to see those kids, and I want Travis Kelce to have a straight and narrow. And I respect the heck out of her. She's great, man. What do you think about your man Mike Francesca saying that Francisco Lindor and your boy Juan Soto are not getting along? They're 14 games below 500. We got the trade deadline coming up. Do you think Lindor's going to get traded? You're a Mets guy. What's going on there, brother?
So listen, there's a lot of this talk's been going on some way before the season even started. They even talked about last year. They brought in the owner talking about this stuff about like he went in and he talked to both of them. And I think it's not that there's conflict. I think there's just 2 different perceptions from 2 different guys who are all-star caliber players. And one got a lot of money and the other got a lot of money, but he's going to be he wants to be.
You're talking about Lindor.
The man, right? So Lindor got a lot of money.
We know Soto's got a fortune.
Yeah. So and I think it's just here's the thing, man. Lindor's 32 years old. He got kids and a wife. Soto is 27. He might have a girlfriend, whatever. But they live in 2 different worlds and play on the same team.
Yeah.
Right. You and I know we not the same guy we was 20 when we were 25.
No, of course not. No.
27 or more. Like the things end up changing. Life comes at us in different ways, and we do what we do when we're our age.
Yeah.
Because that's how we do they
move off Lindor or what?
So that's why I think there's a conflict because those guys see the 2 different things. I think that it's better for both of them to be on the team. It's better for Cohen to keep both guys on the team. And if they can find a way to make that work, then both of them Lindor's going to stay on the team. I don't see it where I feel like, in my own personal opinion, they should move Lindor just to give him an opportunity to maybe have an opportunity to win championship somewhere else. If I'm Lindor and I'm 32 and the Mets give me that and my agent says there's an opportunity, I might take that. Now, on the flip side, he's already said that he loves New York. He wants to stay here. He's built his family's been born here. He's built foundation,
What's the
everything.
problem with him and Soto? You think they're just a maturity difference or life
Yeah, of
difference?
course. That's all it is, man. Listen. You live in New York.
Is
Right.
Soto partying too much or something?
That's not a partying thing, man. It's just, look, man. You got a wife and kid. You got a wife, kid. You're having more kids.
Yeah.
You're living a different life. You talking to the guy who just came here. He's rocking a new contract. Like, hey, listen, and maybe this guy's like, nobody's ever told me to listen, and I've never followed anybody. I do my own thing.
Yeah.
It's just two different personalities.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's looking at Lindor like, yo, I got my money. I'm good. Like, like, just let me be. And
Lindor's like, around this year. I mean, they still got some baseball left. I know they're in last place.
I think that because they've lost too many games in the beginning of the season, they're going to be short of making a playoff run. However, it's not possible. The pitching, they're struggling in pitching right now, so you need that to get into the playoffs. Their starting lineup is a little bit rocky. They just came off a few wins from the Braves, and they beat the Royals the other night. They're playing them again. It's just they're not consistent, man, and you need to be consistent. And I think there's two teams in the NL East that are going to fall short, and that's going to be the Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Mets. I think they're both on the same boat, and they're going to be moving. They're both going to be moving players, and I think, speaking for the Mets side, I think that they will probably move away from a couple pitchers that are high-end contracts next coming season. So, which would be like players like Weaver, Holmes, maybe Holmes. I think Holmes wants to stay and prove that he's a good pitcher. So he might put that on his agent and be like, listen, if anything happens, let me see if I can stay, because he's the one who broke his tibia, right? I don't know if you remember that.
Okay.
He went for a play and he broke his leg. And then there's a couple other guys that maybe Brooks Riley, because other teams might need to build up a bullpen to be a playoff contender. They might try to take.
This is coming up here in a few weeks. I want to say the trade deadline. Of course, we got the All-Star break coming around the corner.
Yeah,
I think that's next week. I've been so caught up in this World Cup, I've been really paying attention to baseball. But
what I like about right now, what's going on is the infusion of the two of the young guys I'm really high on is and Ewing and this kid's name, what's his name? I call him CB, Cody. I can't remember his last name.
Bellinger?
Bellinger?
Cody Bellinger?
Yeah, on the Mets. Yeah. No, not Cody Bellinger. Not Cody Bellinger. Hold on a second. What's his name?
Yeah.
I can't remember his last name.
Yeah.
Not Bellinger. But anyways, they're doing good. They surpassed my expectations as far as like letting young guys play and showing what they can do every day. These guys are in the lineup. They're doing it up, and it's exciting to watch them do things on a team that they're helping kind of grind out plays and try to pick it. Look, the Mets are up and down, man. It's a sticky, messy situation right now, and
maybe they can find a way to get a wild card. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that's
maybe a lost cause at this point, 1400. But I don't know. Crazier things seem to have happened. Anything else to plug, man? You got to wrap it up, brother.
Oh, right now, no, man. Just trying to get everything together for this summer. Kids are out of school, man. You know how it gets busy when the kids are around, and his name is Carson Bench. That's
Carson Bench, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that name. Ewing and Carson Bench. AJ Ewing and Carson Bench. Two guys.
Yeah.
I think that,
and you know something, that's a good point. Even if they maybe they should just start calling up AAA guys. You're 14 games under 500. Everything's. I mean, they've already fired their manager Mendoza back on the 26th. Why not call up some guys? I kind of wish they had my guy, although he didn't come on the show the other day when I asked him to. or when they won the World Series, Kavarius Tears, but he's in, the Padres minor league system. Call up some of these young, hungry guys and see what you got. I know Philadelphia's ahead of. I think Florida's playing well too. The Braves are only 3.5 games up in the East, so they were up like 9 games a few weeks ago.
Yeah, the NL East is kind of wild.
Yeah, Philly's only 3 games back, and so is Miami. Now, Washington's 7 games back, and Philly's 15 games out of first. I'm sorry, the Mets are 50. Yeah, they're probably out of it. But hey, you never know. They need to build on something and let it roll into next year. All right, Mad New Yorker, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. All right, man. I'll holler at you later, folks. I'll be back here Monday and talk about this week's biggest sports events, the World Cup coming up. These World Cup games, we'll get down to the Final Four. So I'll give you my opinion. Plus, we've got I've been watching about this LeBron James maybe going to the 76ers story. Probably should have brought that up with the Man New York as well. So have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you then. If you like the show, share the show. If you have not followed at the Real Sports Scope YouTube page, please do so. Have a good one, everybody.